Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS and Ascension. So, now that we have returned to Amkethran after our conquests in Sendai's Enclave and Abazagul's Lair, our primary objective is to, of course, find a way inside Balthazar's Monastery and confront the last member of the Five. And we've already learned from Elminster that apparently our good, trustworthy friend, Saemon Havarian, could help us in this endeavor. However, there's more than one way to reach Balthazar, and we're going to explore all of them. So in this episode, we're going to take a look around Amkethran again, see what changed since the last time we were here, and try to find some clues. And I think first we're just going to teleport ourselves back down to the lowest level of the village, and visit the temple for just a moment to speak with Chill and see what's going on. And already we encounter some opposition on our way. These mercenaries are now going to attack us on sight, as Balthazar must know that we're coming for him. And we're actually going to have some cool fights in this episode, especially considering the fact that we don't have too many of our spells left after our recent adventures, especially not the ones that would benefit us in such heavily damage or physical damage oriented ones as the ones we're going to have in just a few moments. But first let's actually donate some priceless artifacts that we've managed to obtain in our recent and not so recent adventures that were still lingering in our bags of holding, such as this portal key that we've received from the Chromatic Demon, or this Vigil Stone needed to access Watcher's Keep. We also have the Abazagul's Wardstone and the Breath Potion from our last adventure, so here. We can donate those to the temple for some safekeeping, and we're going to return the rope to Zaki in just a few moments. But first let's talk to Chill, and if we ask him about a way into the monastery, he's going to say that perhaps the smugglers would know something about it, but apparently Balthazar has taken the extreme action of ending their activities, most brutal and sad. So perhaps after Karis and all of the other smugglers ended their operation here in Amkethran, later perhaps they returned together with Saemon Havarian, but apparently they were definitively dispatched by Balthazar and his monks, it would seem. But before we learn more about all that, let's have a moment of peace here to just pre-buff with whatever we have left. I think most of our spells are going to come from Animen. We can pre-buff both of our divine casters with Physical Mirror, and we have also changed a little bit of our equipment. On Kirinai, she is going to be back to throwing some daggers, and she has the Reflection Shield equipped. Imoen is going to be using the Bolts of Lightning, which should allow her to do some pretty good damage here, and Saravok is going to make use of his Ring of Fire control soon. We have the Reflection Shield and Physical Mirror because we're going to encounter a lot of archers, so this is going to be very handy. Next, Animen is going to receive his Armor of Faith. Can also give him Blade Barrier and drop on Holy Might, and in just a moment we're going to cast something new on Jaheira. But I'm going to wait with it a little bit because it's a spell that lasts for just one turn. So actually we can already summon ourselves an Elemental Prince, because we are going to use Greater Elemental Summoning on Jaheira now, and summon ourselves one out of the 3 available Archomentals. The Elemental Princes of Fire, Earth, or Air. We'll see which one of them we're going to get. We can also give mirror images to our mages. We don't have too many of them left. We can give Fire Shield, I guess, to Sinashira as well. And I think we're also going to chant everyone. And we got Sunis, the princess, actually, of good earth creatures. She is the strongest hitting out of the elemental princes that are available to us. She can automatically cast Stone Skins. She's pretty tanky. She also has 2 casts of this party-friendly Earthquake, but she doesn't deal any elemental damage that our other available elemental princes can deal. So we'll see. Now we're going to present Sunis's, I guess, capabilities, and in some of the later encounters I'm going to try to use Greater Elemental Summoning a little bit more so that we can also see the other elemental princes and princesses. Also, as any Archomental, all of these have that level 15 Dispel Magic on hit. That's not really going to matter here, but this is something that can be useful in some circumstances. Alright, and now that we are ready, let's head straight to the Mercenary encampment, these tents here, and that's their main spawning point. And apparently some of them are also on our way. And I think I actually interrupted the Stone Skins of Sunis, but she is going to reapply that Alright, now she has that again. And yeah, these mercenaries are going to approach from a couple of different angles, but we want to reposition in general and get closer to their encampment. They are going to keep spawning for a while, but their numbers are finite. I think after around 20 of them spawn, they eventually stop coming. And I don't want to progress too far to the north, because there's going to be another encounter that I would like to tackle separately, because we have a special plan for Imoen when it comes to that one. So let's just go to their main place here. Perhaps also deal with those stragglers. We might incentivize one of them using the flame strike coming from Saravok's ring of fire control. So nothing too spectacular, but it's pretty fun that you know, a fighter like him can have access to a level 5 spell. Yeah, of course it can be much more impressive, especially if they don't make their save. But anyway, we want to have Anomen in the thick of battle, just so that his blade barrier can deal the maximum damage it can. And once I think the mirror images on Senashira are depleted, we're going to do something different. And we also want to have Jaheira and Saravok back with us. Come back, guys. Let's actually maybe have Senashira help our other guys here, or actually Saravok and Jaheira are going to join the fight in a moment. We might also cast this Earthquake here, just to deal some AoE damage to the mercenaries, and just continue fighting. We can also use this Hand of Murder, newly acquired ball spawn ability that Senashira has. She's going to be able to heal a little bit with it and just deal more damage. Now it's active, and well, she already managed to kill someone with her physical damage alone, but now we should perhaps see in a moment the capabilities of that ability. Yeah, now she's dealing 6 magic damage on top of all the other damage that she is inflicting, so that's pretty nice. And I think, since she doesn't have too many of these mirror images left, we are already going to... well, our Hand of Murder are going to get wasted a little bit, because it only lasts for 3 rounds, but we're going to also use it in some other fights later on. But here I also wanted to showcase the Juggernaut Golem, to give ourselves also the opportunity to analyze its abilities a little bit more in depth, because I misspoke a little in the previous episode. I'm not sure if I'm misremembering completely, or if it works differently in Enhanced Edition than it worked in the classic Baldur's Gate 2, but basically once we summon this Juggernaut Golem, Senashira is going to receive essentially 5 stone skins, although sometimes it seems like it's 4, and they are undispellable even by breach, and once those stone skins are depleted, the Juggernaut Golem dies. But what's interesting is that if you have the level 4 arcane spell Stone Skin active on you, whether you cast it before or after summoning the golem, it doesn't seem to matter. Those arcane mage spell Stone Skins are going to be depleted first, so you can actually keep getting hit for quite a long time before that golem gets destroyed. It seems like Anomen is receiving some pretty good damage. Let's just have him outside there and heal a little bit more with it. Okay, now we have our Juggernaut Golem. It should prove to be pretty useful here. It can hit pretty hard, and it can also cast that Gas Cloud ability that Iron Golems and Adamantite Golems have. And so if we unleash him, like right in the middle of all of these mercenaries, he should do well. And for now we're just keeping Senashira a little bit outside of their vision. We don't have any of our stone skins left, and I think I am going to cast the improved mantle that she still has here, just so that they can't connect with any of their attacks and cannot deplete her stone skins. Because of course, as you can see, they can still dish out some pretty good damage. They still have very good Thaco. I think these archers mostly use +3 arrows, and they generally have pretty good equipment when it comes to its enchantment, at least. Alright, so let's just keep healing with Anomen, and we can already tell Senashira to cast that improved mantle. Oh yeah, now the golem is activating that gas cloud. And there we go, we can deal some bonus damage with it to the mercenaries. There's also some of them approaching from the east, and we have that improved mantle on Senashira now. Anomen is a little bit healed up, so let's rejoin the fight with everyone. Alright, there are some also approaching from the north. Yeah, still spawning, but I think this shouldn't last for too much longer. Jaheira is doing actually pretty well. I was debating using hardiness on her in this encounter, but it seems like Anomen is their primary target of attacks. Alright, Imoen also lost quite a few of her mirror images. Let's pull her back a little bit. And I think yeah, they are still spawning, still fighting strong, and now Jaheira is receiving some damage. I think she is stuck, surrounded by all of these guys, so we need to kill this mercenary perhaps and pull her out of there. Maybe still give her that hardiness, just to keep things nice and safe. Yeah, she cannot get away. And she is very, very close to dying. I think we're actually going to have to spend this Rod of Resurrection charge to heal her. Because, yeah, she is... Okay, now she can go outside. Actually, let's activate hardiness. Right now she is healed. Wow. That was a pretty dangerous situation for her. And yeah, let's actually pull these guys from the northern flank a little bit closer to all of our other combatants. Alright, now Jaheira has her hardiness, and we can just go back to fighting. And I think that should be about it. I think they stopped spawning, so once we deal with the stragglers, we should be done with this encounter. So, some more of them coming from the north. And we are engaged in a bit of a traffic jam there. So, a pretty fun fight. I like this one. This gives us an opportunity to use some different spells and just enjoy a more basic fight, I guess. And these mercenaries, I'm not really going to loot them unless they have a useful scroll or potion on them, but I think it is rarely the case. Yeah, I think this is just going to be, well, mislead we can take, although we have plenty. For Kirinai, of course, I'm rarely using the mislead backstabs because of how powerful they are. But anyway, we are now going to progress a little bit to the north to showcase a few different things and start finally exploring those different ways of getting inside the monastery. There are basically three main ways to get to them, but two of them kind of branch out a little bit. There's a few ways to get a hold of certain keys. And here Imoen leveled up, we might as well give her access to level 27. That is going to give her another level 9 memorization spell, or memorization slot. Very, very cool. That's going to serve us well. But anyway, Imoen here is going to present us something special. We are going to also have a better presentation of the big metal unit now, actually encountering some foes, and delving a little bit more in depth when it comes to the properties of this different types of ammunition, especially. Because, of course, all of this ammunition are, those are crossbow projectiles of unlimited quantity that set your attacks per round to 5, and they also all bypass magic resistance. They are not considered to be like magical effects, but projectiles, of course. But now when it comes to their damage, the Scorcher projectiles actually deal 2d12 damage, but there's a save versus breath for half. The frag grenades just deal 1d12 with no saving throws attached, and the pulse ammunition deals 1d4 magical damage. But where they differ is that the Scorcher ammunition and the frag grenades are considered non-enchanted at all, like non-magical sources of damage, whereas the pulse ammunition is actually +3 enchanted. So of course that makes them more suited to different situations. Like with the frag grenades and the Scorcher ammunition, you can bypass protection from magical weapons, for example, but of course they are going to be useless against a lot of creatures that are immune to that type of weaponry, and then we would have to resort to the pulse ammunition to at least deal +3 enchanted damage. But why we are really having this exposition on Imoen specifically, and while she is going to showcase some fun stuff, is because of how powerful all of this ammunition is in conjunction with Imoen's Firetooth crossbow, because of this awesome property of Firetooth that adds both the physical damage and the fire damage to any projectile that is fired from Firetooth. So if we load her with some projectiles, first I think we're going to present the pulse ammunition. Of course, she is going to have 5 attacks per round, and not only is she going to be dealing the magical damage coming from the pulse ammunition, but also some physical and fire damage coming from Firetooth directly. So that's going to be pretty fun. And also, we are going to switch our equipment just a little bit. We're going to actually give the Ring of Protection +2 back to Saravok. Jaheira is going to get the ring, and Saravok is going to pass the Cloak of Protection +2 to Imoen, and she is even going to get improved haste so that she can have 10 attacks per round. And I think since this is, you know, so close to the end of the game, and the opponents that we're going to encounter in just a moment are not particularly demanding anyway, we can allow ourselves to showcase some really powerful and broken combos here with Firetooth and the big metal unit ammunition. We're also going to equip Anomen with the Sling of Arvarine, because it has this sonic boom ability. And it's more for the name of it, really, like the Street Fighter Guile ability, sonic boom. But it is an AoE ability that the monks we're going to fight are susceptible to, even though it's pretty easy to save against, just a normal save versus spell without any penalties. But yeah, we are going to get in there and have some fun. We can apply improved haste onto Imoen here, and she might even put on the the big metal unit just to present herself accordingly. And just this, like, this zooming big golem zooming around. Dum, dum, dum. Anyway, let's actually first approach with Anomen, and just to try out that sonic boom. Also, if we approach with our protagonist, I think they are going to initiate a separate conversation. Yeah, it's her, destroy her in the name of all that is righteous. They seem to be of the mindset, they seem to believe that they are in the right here in our confrontation. But anyway, we are going to be encountering these monks here. They are mostly level 13, this guard captain is level 20, and he has the key to this gate. But we are not going to pick this key up, and we're going to elaborate on that in a moment. What sucks about this sonic boom is that it doesn't really have any animation to it, but once these monks kind of get closer to Anomen, let's use it.
Sonic boom!
And yeah, it seems like a few of them got stunned, but anyway, now after this initial sonic boom, we're going to actually go in with Imoen, and yeah, first we can present some pulse ammunition and direct our attacks onto this guard captain. There are also some monks spawning in different places, although they mostly spawn at the gate, and it's a similar situation. Once we kill enough of them, they eventually stop spawning. And look at this, physical, magic, and fire damage that Imoen is just shooting from her little machine gun. So that's pretty cool. We can also present the frag grenades, and the frag grenades also are going to deal physical damage and additional fire damage coming from Firetooth. Boom, boom, boom! She is going crazy here, dealing all of this damage. But this was just an appetizer. Finally, we are going to equip the Scorcher ammunition. And this one, of course, triggers twice, just like the spell again as our Scorcher. And with 10 attacks per round, we are going to be able to create such a powerful beam, kind of similar to our Death Ray from the Underdark that we have used against the Kuo-toa in Shadows of Amn. But yeah, we can just use our attacks here. And directing this beam is going to be a little bit more problematic, I think, when we are in this form. So perhaps we are going to de-equip this armor in a second once we are out of combat. Perhaps we're going to have a moment of peace. But look at this. Physical damage and additional, that 2 fire damage coming from Firetooth. And of course the 2d12, well, with the opportunity for a saving throw coming from the ammunition. And here they go, exploding on us here. Yes! And we can just shoot these projectiles, direct the beam onto someone, and boom! They just are going to be dropping like flies here. Actually, can you de-equip that yet? Perhaps in a second. Alright, I think this is going to make it a little bit more of an easy task, just maneuvering between all of these guys. Yeah, let's allow Imoen to have some fun here. Finally, she can deal some damage. It's, I don't know, stuff like that never gets old for me. And of course, normally I don't, you know, trivialize any important encounters with some more broken combos, but of course this, you know, is just, it would be a slaughter either way. But let's actually see if there are some other monks here and there. Sometimes they... Oh yes, oh yes, yes, yes! Show us what you got, Imoen, here. Yes. Keep firing, my girl. Look at that. Alright, I think this is going to be more or less the end of our fun, unfortunately. Yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And yeah, when it comes to these guys, we are going to see this Monastery gate key, but I'm not going to pick it up, because once we pick it up and have it in our inventory, Saemon Havarian is actually not going to spawn when he is where he is supposed to spawn, and we actually want to engage in his line of quests here. And I think we're just going to go back to normal projectiles now. And I think now our next order of business is going to be to perhaps quick save, because, of course, as always, Amkethran is pretty prone to crashing. But anyway, now we're going to visit the inn, the Zephyr, and I think we're already going to cast this remove magic, because these mercenaries are also going to become hostile, and they are pretty weak. The fighters are level 14 and the mage is only level 10, so he's not even going to have any spell immunities or any like good pre-buffs, I think. So just a quick remove magic to deprive him of his basic protections is going to be nice. We can also move in with Sarlok, Animen, and all of our melee guys. And we can start attacking here. And yeah, he gets his protections. Of course, we also had a Vorpal hit there for an instant kill. Yeah, mirror images, stone skins. He also had improved invisibility, but all of that is going to get dispelled all right now, and there he goes. I didn't really want to use any AoE here, of course, any Scorcher ammo, because we would basically just damage ourselves more, and also possibly some innocent bystanders, and I am going to take that potion of invulnerability and that potion of power, thank you very much. And now we're actually going to talk to Zaki, and ask him about some possible entrances to the monastery. Ordinarily, I would say no, my friend. Well, of course, in response to our question, as to does he know anything, but it comes to mind that I have heard this question asked numerous times before and recently, so I am thinking that perhaps there is someone who can help you after all. A pair of adventurers from Kalimshan came to Amkethran months ago. They seem a quiet pair and properly married, so I asked no question of them. They have been asking around the fortress as well. Perhaps they could help you. I speak of Fahid and Majira. They live in a home here in the village, if you wish to seek them out. So yeah, we get this notion, this bit of information from Zaki. We can also get it from Saemon Havarian, but we need it to progress with this other way of gaining the entrance to the monastery. And what's also interesting is that if you have killed Fahid and Majira earlier on, he is actually going to acknowledge that fact and say that, you know, they might have been able to help you, but after they were killed, the smugglers looted their home, but now that the smugglers are also disposed of, apparently he would be able to provide us with a different way to go inside the monastery. And if you are either good aligned or have at least 16 reputation, he is actually going to entrust you with a key to the gate, to the front gate to the monastery, the same one that drops from that guard captain, saying that one of the drunk mercenaries dropped it in his inn, and he just you know, got a hold of it. So that's pretty interesting, that even in such cases the game knows what to do. And now we are going to actually visit Fahid and Majira. Of course, Fahid and Majira, something that I forgot to mention the first time we were in Amkethran, their names sound a lot like Khalid and Jahira, but yeah, that's about it when it comes to references. And so now when we talk to Fahid, we can actually have these conversation options here. And I need a key that I'm told you have, actually. What would make you think that I might have such a key? And whether we drop the name of Zaki or if we got the information from Saemon or not, this is going to progress normally, but we can say that Zaki told us about it. I do have that key, yes, but I'm afraid I can't just give it to you. My wife and I purchased the key from the smugglers for a very specific reason. We wish to kill Balthazar. He has endangered this whole village, and we can stand by and watch no longer. It will be difficult, but my wife and I are former adventurers. We have some power ourselves. Why are you telling me this? Because it doesn't matter. If you take this key, then we have failed. If you work for Balthazar, then we are undone. I cannot allow you to leave, obviously. And this can end up in a fight, and Majira is a level 20 cleric, and Fahid is a level 20 Kensai mage, but they are both good aligned, and even when it ends up in a fight, this doesn't really feel right. They basically, apologize to you that it had to end in violence, which is, according to Fahid, the last and the poorest resort. But anyway, if we tell him that we are actually looking to confront Balthazar ourselves, he is going to believe us with no special requirements here needed. Yeah, of course, he senses that we speak the truth. You have far more power than I. If that is your goal, then you have a far better chance than I. I don't want to kill him unless I have to, but I will probably have to. Then take the key. Use it to enter the monastery through the graveyard cavern. We wish you the best of success. And leave. You can also loot their home now. For some jewelry. I probably shouldn't really bother with this anymore. But just to be thorough, that is a plate mail +1. Wow. And now we have the graveyard key, which is of course going to open that last remaining casket that we weren't able to open when we visited the cavern the first time. Also, Zeki, thank you for the rope. And there you go, you can have it back. Yes. And yeah, now when we go to the cave of the dead, we are going to be able to use that key to open that final passage. But we are not going to take that passage, because of course that would lock us out of the final way to go inside the monastery. I'm talking about this door. Yeah, now we were able to open it. But anyway, now this is going to be finally the time to go to the smuggler's cave and see what's up.
At your order.
Yes, without hesitation. What is it? This will not take long.
Aye. Speak your mind.
Alright, so here's Saemon Havarian once again. Hello again, Sinashira. I have been waiting for you. I must be cursed to keep running into you. Ah, yes. I suppose we could rehash our differences where I mind to, but surrounded by my slaughtered old comrades as I am, I'm hardly in the mood. And yeah, we can see the smuggler corpses. So, yeah, Balthazar has indeed put a final end to the smuggler operation here, it seems. I figured you'd be coming back to Amkethran soon enough, and so I waited for you. I have a proposition if you're interested. You've betrayed me constantly, even with those guards. Why should I trust you? I've done only what I've had to in the past. I may owe you for my unfortunate rudeness, perhaps, but overall, you and I are pretty even, Sinashira. What? Even? You don't think I had much of a choice with all that business in Spellhold, did you? And for all my troubles, for bringing you to the island, I ended up losing my best ship. And then there's the business of my poor men here. If it weren't for you and all those other ballspawn, my little smuggling business here could have continued quietly as it was. As it is, I've lost nearly all my investment, and I'm not very happy about it. So this little weasel, this little scoundrel, tries to put forth a notion that we are supposedly even here, after all the trickery, after all of the betrayal that we suffered at his hands. What about the business with the Githyanki? I suppose you were forced into that too? Well, no, that's true. Would you believe I truly didn't intend that to work out as it did? No, I suppose you wouldn't. Well, you survived just fine, so no harm done, right? We could argue about who's done what to whom all day. Or maybe less, as I imagine my being chopped to bits might make your argument a little more effective than mine. Regardless, hear me out first. I blame Balthazar, if anything. He's made my life nothing short of difficult, and now he's gone and curtailed me completely, and harmed some perfectly innocent people. He's got to pay for that. Yeah, as if Saemon Havarian was concerned about the fate of innocent people ever in his life. As I understand it, you've got to get inside the monastery, and I've got a couple of ideas which might enable you to do that. Interested? And I'm going to just temporarily respond in a more aggressive manner here, because this is going to lead to a pretty good line by him. I think killing you will make me much, much happier. It's a mistake, Sinashira. Believe it or not, we make a good team. Well, I'll just have to live with the loss. But basically, if you go about this in a very confrontational manner, he's just going to go invisible and disappear. And I'm going to showcase something when it comes to Saemon in just a moment. But alright, fine. We're going to listen to what he has to say now. Now, I knew you were more reasonable than you seemed. Alright then. The best way I can think of to get to inside the monastery is through disguise. My men scavenged a few uniforms. It's enough for you and me to bluff our way past the gate guards. I'd need to go with you, naturally. I've done this before, and I know the proper codes to tell them. So this is a little suspicious. I'm not sure if I would want to cooperate with Saemon Havarian that closely and have him with us. What do you get out of this? I get to exact revenge on Balthazar. I'm a man with a reputation to uphold, after all. I can't allow slights like this to pass, you know. And besides, I suppose I owe you one. This doesn't seem like a very convincing argument coming from his mouth. But anyway, let's first ask about that other way he mentioned. The other way is quite dangerous. I wouldn't suggest it, and I couldn't go with you. Balthazar has worded that route against me. Against me specifically, I mean. Why am I not surprised if that is even the truth? But yeah, what's this other way? It's through the graveyard cavern just west of here. I hear it's full of undead creatures, but I could be wrong. Well, not anymore. Anyhow, there's a group of caskets high up on the platforms. One of them leads into the monastery. But you'd need a key to open that casket, and I no longer have it, and there's no guarantee whoever has it now will give it to you. But if you're sure you want to go that way, and basically we're going to end it here, because of course we have already explored that way, and if we pressure him more to say who this is actually going to commit us to that kind of way, and he is going to disappear. So he would, of course, say that a gentleman by the name of Fahid is in possession of that key, and just disappear afterwards. But man, let's go with that disguise route. All right then, give me a few moments to prepare. Come and talk to me again once you're ready to go. All right. All right, and here we're going to make another quick save just to showcase a couple of things. If we just attack him here. He says, I must say I've never liked this side of you, Sinashira. Oh well, excuse me while I beat a retreat, as they say. And yeah, it instantly goes invisible, and it's pretty much impossible to get him after this. But if we load our save and stun him immediately with a tool like Smite, for example, he is not going to be able to initiate that conversation, and we are going to finally be able to put an end to Saemon Havarian and get rid of him once and for all. He's also a level 20 fighter mage with not much, actually, just these scimitars +3 that have a cool glow, but not much else comes out of it. This is, of course, mostly about the satisfaction of killing Saemon Havarian, but we are still going to reload that quick save one more time to showcase that disguise route. But before we go in there, I think we are just going to have a few quick pre-buffs just in case. So we are going to pre-buff a little bit with the Greenstone Amulet. I think we're going to give one charge of it to Sinashira, because there are going to be some mages that I think we're going to be able to dispose of very quickly, but just in case, let's just have that on Sinashira. Perhaps on Imoen too, because she is going to be very important to what we're going to do, although they shouldn't really be able to break her invisibility in time. We're also going to make her invisible. I think this is going to be really it. We don't need the reflection shield anymore. And yeah, we are going to drink a potion of invisibility on Imoen.
What do you want?
And just in case even more, we can give her some mirror images.
Yes.
And let's just wait for a moment
It is done.
so that we can cast immediately after all that. And now we can approach Saemon again. Yeah, I've got the uniforms ready. Fine, let's go. But you'd better be on the level. Would I steer you wrong, Sinashira? No, of course not. Never. Unfortunately, the disguises here are not going to be animated or visual in any way. The ballspawn taint must be cleansed, brother. With the mercy of the gods, it shall be so, brother. Be righteous, brother. And also you, brother. Don't mind these corpses on the ground, by the way.
Saemon, you have done well, delivering the ball spawn as you promised. I assume they have been drugged. We do not want any trouble after all.
Oh, and what's this? This sounds disturbingly familiar to what we've been through in Shadows of Amn. This might actually make Sinashira suffer a little stroke here upon hearing these words. I brought her, but she may be more than you can handle. I dragged this one once before. I owe her one.
I knew Balthazar was a fool to trust you, Saemon.
Saemon. So at least for once, Saemon tricks someone else to our benefit. And at least this one time, we don't end up being on the losing side of his machinations. But anyway, we're going to have 2 level 20 mages here, 2 level 20 berserkers, and this level 21 monk. And basically, I didn't set up this chain contingency before this whole cutscene, because it usually happens that it fires onto the enemies before they really get their pre-buffs, and that would be a little unfair. So we are going to set it up now. Imoen is going to unleash some spells upon the nearest enemy. Here, those are going to be whatever we have left when it comes to our damaging spells, and 2 horrid wiltings and 1 incendiary cloud. We don't have any protection from fire and protection from magic energy on our own, but that shouldn't really matter when it comes to approaching these mages. Imoen is invisible. She should be able to approach a little bit forward. I'm not going to go all the way in there because they might have some horrid wiltings of their own when it comes to their pre-buffs. We're going to already unleash a remove magic from Sinashira, especially since one of them apparently has immunity to divination. And we're going to see about the other one, who is a bit slower when it comes to unleashing his stuff. And we're also going to actually... what am I doing here? We're going to equip the Thieves' Hood on Kirinai and get a very quick true sight to perhaps... Well, let's actually wait with it for 1 second until that other mage is operational. And perhaps the other mage is not going to have immunity to divination, and maybe we're going to be able to dispel his illusions with our true sight here. And let's actually move a little bit further away with our other guys. Alright, now we can... Alright, another immunity to divination, so I think our remove magics should be successful enough, unless Sinashira gets interrupted here. Alright, she did manage to unleash it, I think, just now. Or perhaps it's about to get unleashed. Right, there we go. Now we can bring Imoen closer, and hopefully after their mirror images are dispelled and everything else, our contingency here is going to be unleashed. And I think I'm going to just keep Sinashira a little bit further away. Alright, now we have unleashed our stuff onto them, and all of these mages, of course, cannot withstand that kind of damage. Also, the fighters, I think one of them died, it seems. No, they are just badly injured, and now we can just finish them off. So yeah, a little welcoming company. Apparently Balthazar wanted to trick us into bringing us drugged to him, so that he could deal with us easily, but at least for once, dealing with Saemon Havarian ended up being beneficial. And I'm not really going to loot anyone here. And basically, whenever we go through here, we're going to be able to enter the monastery, the inner section of it. And here, unfortunately, the guard is not there anymore. He went to be righteous somewhere else. And I think this is going to be it for this episode. And next time we are going to actually devote the next episode to our confrontation against Balthazar, because especially with Ascension, it's much improved, both when it comes to the battle and the conversation it provides. So there's a lot of cool stuff ahead of us still. And yeah, for now I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.